Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Nerd Rage Gaming Championship Series. I'm Corbin Hostler, joined by Devin Doomwake O'Donnell. We are coming to you from the Madison Showdown, where we are watching modern play happening. It has been a great tournament so far. We are through 5 rounds here today. I had Will Hall in the booth with me this morning, and we had a blast. We saw some epic games of Magic. If you've been following along, I know Devin was watching home. We had some incredible matches, and we've got more to come. So welcome in, Devin. Excited to have you on for the rest of the day.
You know, I got to say, Corbin, I am very, very excited to be commentating some Modern today. I don't know that we're going to be able to top what we saw earlier today, where, we saw the blind flip one ring after bottoming 13 cards and then turn later, top deck Lightning Bolt like that. That was one of the most absurd games I've ever watched. But we will certainly do our best as we this is kind of a weird tournament where this is sort of the send-off tournament or send-off event for Nadu. I guess we have a little bit of Modern tomorrow as well. But yeah, Nadu is out in full force, and for better or worse, it is going to be in our feature match. And I believe our players are just about ready to get underway. So maybe we can throw it down there and see what we have working for you guys. As we have Ryan on the right hand side of your screen, sort of playing, I guess this is the good guy, right? Mardu Energy.
I guess so. I'm not convinced it's going to be the good guy a month from now, but for now, yeah, it's the okay guy.
Yeah. Okay, it looks like we may have the camera flipped a little bit. So yeah, Ryan, I believe, is on the left. That's the Mardu Energy deck. And then Sam on the right-hand side of your screen. Sam is playing the Nadu Menace here. And just taking a look at the deck lists, Sam looks pretty stock to me. I think most of the Nadu lists look relatively similar. The 4 Nadus, Summoner's Pact, Court of Callings, bunch of Meta Dorks, some one-ofs. And then as far as Mardu Energy is concerned, this is kind of we've seen a lot of the Boros deck, but this deck is actually splashing a little bit of black, and it's dipping into black for Orcish Bowmasters and Thoughtseize, along with a couple of Ob Nixilis the Adversary, which is kind of a sweet one.
That's my favorite by far. If you think, well, you know what's like really good these days? Ocelot Pride, right? Well, it's pretty good against a bunch of little small creatures randomly. Ob Nixilis the Adversary. It's a 3 mana, but has Casualty X, where if you sacrifice a creature with power X, you get to copy it, and you get a token with loyalty, and then you get to make devils. And that's the big thing. It's just cluttering the board with little devils to ping all these Mardu or Boros energy creatures down. That's what Ob Nixilis is very good at. So that is what you get when you dip into black. And it works out pretty well. It's also obviously good against the Mana Dork type cards out of the Bant decks, the green base decks. So yeah, it is an interesting take on the energy deck, that's for sure.
Yeah, and then for just kind of glancing over this game here, both players have reasonable starts. Ryan had the sort of, I guess, the perfect curve is the turn 1 Guide of Souls, turn 2 removal spell plus Ocelot Pride that trigger the guide, make a cat. And Sam, it looks a little, maybe players who are not used to this Nadu deck or used to Saga decks in general might not, you might see Urza Saga on turn 1 and think to yourself, aren't you supposed to get full value out of that and make the tokens? Well, the Nadu deck doesn't really care about making tokens. It just wants to put a Shuko into play as fast as possible and set up that turn 3 Nadu win.
Yeah, turn 3 works. That's when your saga hits chapter 3. You can add the mana and then go get your thing. And that's all that really matters. It doesn't matter that you lose it after that.
Yeah, Springheart Nantuko kind of setting up the perfect here. So Sam is, has the Nantuko in play. Next turn, that Saga's going to get the chapter 3, can float a mana in response. Saga go gets Shuko, plays a blue source, plays a Nadu, and then, the game might be wrapped up. And it's really unfortunate here for Ryan that that third land was tapped because he did have a copy of Flage. But because that third land entered the battlefield tapped, not going to be able to kill that Springheart Nantuko.
Yeah, what a wild sort of both players with near ideal starts here, right? Sam had a 1-drop, and then on turn 2, you were like, he had a 1-drop, and Ryan still has an overwhelming board that beat his 1-drop and did all of this stuff. That's completely like crazy powerful, right? Well, on the other hand, Sam says, okay, sure, that happened, but here's my perfect 2. I have my Saga going off on 3. I could just threaten a win on 3. And it comes down to Ryan actually needed a perfect turn 1, 2, and 3, and not just a perfect turn 1 and 2. If, of course, Sam has just the picture perfect Nadu hand over here. But that is high. Like when we've seen plenty, both Nadu and energy decks stumble around today. But this is the upside of both decks. When they look good, this is the ceiling that they can reach that really no other decks in the format can reach. And that's why you see so many players choose them. I mean, obviously, Nadu's ceiling is unlike anything else.
Yeah, and part of me sort of maybe wants to go back to the turn two, where Ryan had the turn one Guide of Souls, and then turn two had the Ocelot Pride alongside Galvanic Discharge for Haywire Might.
Yep.
And it's not clear that the Haywire Might was super threatening at that time because the Guide of
Right.
Souls could still attack through it. The Ocelot Pride is going to generate tokens regardless that turn because you're getting the energy and the life from Guide of Souls. So I mean, it is maybe possible that maybe Ryan potentially could have held off on that discharge, and obviously he didn't know Sam was going to play the Natuko on turn two, so it's sort of like you kind of have to think ahead a little bit, and maybe potentially got punished by that decision, or could have just hoped the top deck an untap land for that third turn as well.
Yeah, I mean, certainly when you have Flage as your follow up, you don't expect your opponent to have turn three combo through removal. But that is a possibility. I mean, that's a tough line there. That said, we'll see Sam getting preparing the stage here. I think here comes the tokens. There's the Nadu. We are off to the races.
Yep, we are ready to go. So we got 3 tokens. That's going to be 6 triggers. Every single time that Sam hits a land, that's going to be 2 more triggers. So yeah, we can you can probably imagine that this game is very, very likely going to be over this turn.
It
Just
shows you
kind of
just how thin the margins are. Not in competitive Magic, right? Like these players both had very good hands. They're both doing very well. They're 4-1 in a big tournament. And if you go back to that turn two, you think about that. That seems to be the only possible really inflection point of the game. Um, you know, Using removal spells to push your damage when you have a super aggressive hand feels correct, right? But if that is really the difference in this game, because obviously we see now the Nantucko into the Nadu with the Saga, that's a tough thing to foresee coming. But even with a perfect hand, Ryan needed a little bit more, and it may or may not have been there. But this is just a clinic by Sam.
Yep. Yeah, this is the second Spring Heart Nantuko, so now every single land is going to get 4 more triggers. And yeah, I mean, it's going to be really, really tough for, you would have to imagine Sam is going to be. And yeah, Ryan agrees. Ryan is going to go ahead and pack up the cards, and we are going to go to game number 2.
Hey, Nadu's not so bad when they just pick up the cards.
Yeah. Yeah. If you never make him go through the combo, then, I think Will was mentioning this earlier where it's a situation of, what if the Nadu player wants to do their combo, but they never get to do it because everybody just concedes and a little bit too
Yeah.
fast. But yeah, let's take a look at the sideboards because that is going to be where we are headed in just a little bit. So, taking a look at Ryan Reynolds' sideboard, you see 3 copies of Harsh Mentor, a Magebane Lizard, 2 Sun Cleanser, a Gigantha, 2 Surgical Extraction, a Rakdos Charm, 2 Wear Tear, 2 Unlicensed Terse, and a Damping Sphere. Got to imagine those Harsh Mentors, certainly for this matchup. You could maybe consider going towards Surgical Extraction, where you can. There's some weird lines where you Thoughtseize or kill a Nadu, and then you can surgical it. I don't know if that's a
Yeah.
little too narrow. And Rakdos Charm seems to be pretty good when your opponent makes quite a few Springheart Nantuko tokens.
Yeah, Rakdos Charm has been the secret sideboard card that some people have told me this is not exclusively, but very nearly the biggest reason that they're playing energy, right? Mardu energy specifically for Rakdos Charm because it is instant speed graveyard hate when you need it, and that's relevant against a lot of decks. For instance, Espergorios, but it's also this thing where you just make them take 20 when they've made all their tokens, and they really don't have any way to interact with it, and it's a way to just kind of one shot the best deck in the format, right? And that's a big draw here. The main deck is pretty eclectic too, right? We got 3 Thoughtseizes, we got 2 Ob Nixilis, 3 Flages, 2 Fables, 2 Prisons, 1 Nightmare, 1 Bombardment. You certainly have some room around the edges to cut after sort of the base 20 card package that makes up the deck. So yeah, it's going to be, I think, uh, a sideboarded matchup where there's a lot to play. a lot of play coming from
Oh yeah.
Ryan's side, right? And then it's going to make it back and forth of it very interesting.
Absolutely. And as far as Sam is concerned, take a look and see what Sam is working with. So we talked a little bit about the main deck, mostly stock. And then as far as the sideboard, we have three Besajus and then a whole bunch of one ofs: one Forge Tender, one Magistrate, one Sun Cleanser, one Endurance, one Titania Protector of Argoth, a Colossal Sky Turtle, a Teferi Time Raveler, a Run of Fel, a Veil of Summer, a Force of Vigor, a Soul Guide Lantern, and a Vexing Bauble. Presumably, Sam is probably aware of the presence of Harsh Mentor, excuse me, being quite a big presence in these Boros and Mardu decks. So probably going to
Mhm.
want to go towards that Forge Tender. Sun Cleanser, notably, pretty good when your opponent is trying to assemble a massive supply of energy. Past those two, you could maybe like if you expect the game to go long and be less about the combo, maybe you could consider boarding in the Titania.
Yeah,
Um,
that's where
not
I'm
sure
at.
if you want to go there though.
This is what that's the card that stood out to me as something that says like you are deep into the format now. Right? Like you don't
Yes.
just land on Titania Protector of Argoth in your initial draft of your 75, you know? That is the answer you have found when your deck looks like this and you've encountered some very specific sideboard plans to stop you from doing your thing and it just becomes the perfect top end because if you aren't aware, the card actually is pretty powerful. It turns lands into creatures. It's pretty good as a top end when your opponents are pulling out all the stops to defeat your Nadu combo. So it's going to make for some real cat and mouse, some back and forth. Like an interesting sideboarded matchup for sure. Now, of course, the one thing the Bant deck can do that the Mardu deck cannot is just win the game on turn 3.
Yes, and so Ryan's hand might be a little prepared for that. I did get a glimpse, and we talked about during sideboarding that Rakdos Charm that is in the opening hand here for Ryan. So we will have to see if that is something that comes up. As far as the rest of the hand, I think it's a Static Prison, a Flage, couple of lands, maybe. Yeah, I think that's mostly,
That's a charm.
and I think
Yeah.
an Ajani as well. So
Yeah, nice looking hand over there from Ryan. And now Sam had exactly what you want in game one. When you're 4-1 in a energy championship series and you're playing for the top 8 at this point, you're around 6. You just had a perfect turn 3 combo. Textbook, no real thought required in the sense that like you kept your opening hand, you had a game plan, you executed on it. It worked. Your opponent scooped, and here you are in game 2. Uh, but now you've got to play through the sideboard, and you know that this Mardu deck can pull out all the stops for you, and you don't know what those stops are going to be, and that's the problem because there's a bunch of different colors. So if you're Sam, now or when things get interesting.
yeah, and I mean, this is kind of the ideal start. We saw game one, excuse me. We saw Sam have the turn one Urza Saga, and this game, it just has the Walroots plus the Shuko. It's actually kind of funny that Sam drew the Shuko this game instead of having the Urza Saga because Ryan does actually have a copy of Static Prison in hand. So you could
Okay.
imagine if that was a saga instead, that one gets is able to dodge the Static Prison, but because we just naturally drew the Shuko, cannot do that. It's interesting that Sam did not equip. Oh, actually, a really heads up play
Uh
because
huh.
you don't want the token to die. So if you equip the Shuko, the token dies. That flips the Ajani. So very heads up play there by Sam.
Yeah. Good note. And now we see the thought begins because Ryan, he does have access to all of these really interesting sideboard cards. And now he's got to decide how he wants to play them because there's a lot going on here. It looks like step one is going to be galvanic discharge pointed at the wall of roots, and down it goes.
Yep. So discharge probably take care of the wall roots and then potentially the static prison to clean up the Shuko. And that will leave Sam on an empty board. So, yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen. And then Ryan's still with a Flage and a Rakdos Charm for leftovers. So, not doing too bad. Ryan could potentially, if he wanted to, could maybe Flage his own cat token next turn to flip the Ajani
Yeah,
and start
interesting.
generating more tokens that way.
Yeah, that's a good point. No, he even got to get the surveil land value there, put a blind Saint Buyer into his graveyard. But no, that's a great point about Flade using it to flip the Ajani here. Um, pretty rough if you're Sam. You probably felt pretty good. You had a combo piece, you had a ramp, you had Nadu, you had everything you needed. But I guess at the end, if you're left with Nadu of those three pieces, it's probably a trade-off you'll accept.
Yeah, and I actually took a look at Sam's hand. There was a copy of Sun Cleanser, but if you notice, there's not a white source of mana. Typically,
Mhm.
with these kind of sideboard silver bullet targets, you want to have access to be able to Court of Calling for them. But it looks like, unfortunately for Sam, drew that Sun Cleanser without access to, the ability to cast it. As we see an attack here with both creatures. And it appears that, Ryan's willing to basically trade the Ajani and the Flage for that Nadu because, don't want to let that thing stay in play for longer than a turn cycle.
Yeah, accept that one if you can get it.
Oh yeah, I would take that trade all day.
He's got
It'll be
that Rakdos
interesting.
charm. He's got that Raptors charm pulled to the front of hand. He wants it. He's ready. He's ready for this thing at some point. At some
Yeah,
point, it's coming. I'm telling you.
probably gonna hold that one up for most of the rest of the game.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see if Sam doesn't block, what Ryan decides to do. Okay, so we're just gonna go ahead and ship it back, gonna hold up that Rakdos charm. Like I mentioned, could have potentially flaged the cat token to be able to flip the Ajani, but then if you do
Yeah.
that, you're going shields down on the Rakdos charm, and that's kind of awkward.
Sam hit a fetch land here. Uh,
Ooh, okay. So that turns
so
on the Sun Cleanser.
yep. And we went for the bestow. Yep.
Yeah, and turning on the Sun Cleanser is actually massive here because that's
Hmm.
going to remove the energy from Ryan, which will sacrifice the prison, which will then in turn give back the Shuko
Yeah.
with the Nadu and the Spring Heart already ready to go.
And then I think that that would probably wrap it up. But
Have to see what Sam wants to do. I got a
yeah,
little bit of a glimpse at Sam's hand. I think it was a delighted halfling, a colossal sky
he's got the
turtle.
turtle. Yeah.
Yeah, the turtle, which I believe is 2 mana bounce a creature, I think. Let me take a look at it. It's
That's
been a
what I was
while.
just checking to see if he can bounce the prison with it.
So it's 3 mana to regrowth or blue and a colorless to unsummon. And both modes are channel, so discard the sky turtle.
Right. So you can only hit creatures with that. So cannot use that to bounce the prison to get back the Shuko and just win on the spot. Not going to be that easy.
Yep. Yeah, so Sam's going to go ahead and fetch for that Temple Garden. That's going to bring an insect and presumably is lining up this Sun Cleanser here. Yeah,
Yep.
there's the Sun Cleanser. And then, like we mentioned, that is going to remove that static prison and it's going to give the Shuko back to Sam. Or, yeah, back to Sam. And Ryan's kind of in a tricky position here.
Yeah. The interesting thing here to note is that Sam is
It's that
down to
Rakdos charm.
right. Sam is down to 11 life,
Yeah.
and Sam has 5 creatures in play. So and Sam hasn't begun to combo. It does not take much.
Yeah, now there's an interesting thing where I'm trying to think of okay, so let's assume that Sam goes for the combo and Ryan's like, okay, fine, you can make a bunch of insect tokens. I don't really care. And at some point during the combo, once Sam puts the 11th creature into play, you cast the Rakdos Charm. Harsh Mentor is the draw. That's going to change things a lot.
Yeah,
But I'm
that's
wondering if there's a way that Sam can sort of combo again in response, where you can go Court of Calling for 3 to get the Outrider, and then use
mm.
the Outrider in response to the charm. I think there's a way to do it. Maybe chat will let me know, but I
Well, that
feel
is
like there might
certainly
be a
the
way to do
power
it.
of Outrider, right? Because that it can
Yes.
do it at instant speed, which Shuko cannot. Even Shuko can come off of Urza's enchantment. So they kind of obviously work in conjunction to make the deck as powerful as it is. But the Court of Calling instant speed into instant speed combo is certainly a very, very difficult line for anyone to interact with. So, Sam reading to Johnny though. We've got this is on the combat here because if you keep poke in for a couple with the cats, it makes you even closer on that Rakdos charm, not to mention the Harsh Mentor, now that Sam's also going to have to play.
Yep. So Johnny's being read here. And it looks like we are just getting in for 2 damage with that cat token. Gonna say no blocks here for Sam. And Ryan's kind of just chilling right now. Gonna, has the Harsh Mentor in play and holding up that copy of Rakdos Charm. So it doesn't really have to do a
It,
ton here.
yeah, I was going to say, it's not often your opponent has Sun Cleanser, Nadu, Nantucko, Shuko, and you feel okay about your position. But
Right.
Ryan actually did feel okay about his position. Now, the turtle bouncing the harsh mentor, maybe that starts to change things, but we still got the Rakdos charm to give it a shot. So
Oh
we're
boy.
making defense down.
Yeah,
On to the next.
it's so funny from Sam's position too, because there's no energy and the Sun Cleanser in play, so you know that Galvanic Discharge is turned off. Most of these Mardu lists don't play anything like, go for the throat or some sort of Doomblade type effect. So, from your position, you kind of just think like, oh yeah, I'm good to go. I wonder if Sam has Rakdos Charm on the radar.
Yeah, it's been the tech for a couple of weeks, I guess, because that's all. I mean, but it's the sort of thing where like you can easily miss it, and even if you're not missing it, you're on camera at 4-1. You're getting closer to the top 8 of the NRG Championship Series. So, by the way, we're here in Madison having an excellent time. There's a big sealed event going as well, but there's a lot of pressure here. It's very easy to just not think about something like, oh, how do I perfectly play around Rakdos Charm when I'm at 9 life trying to combo against my Mardu energy opponent. It's a lot to keep in mind. It's a tough spot for anyone. But here we go. What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 creatures in play now for Sam.
That's a lot. And that's going to be 2 more. That's okay. Sam's already up to 8. Now the question for Ryan is, when do you go for it? I'm
Yeah.
guessing you go for it when it's exactly lethal. So, like for example, you would let the
Now.
9th creature come into play, respond to the other Nintuka, because it limits what Sam can chord for in response. Like, remember how I was saying there might be this kind of line?
Right.
But then you also have to worry about, if you do it for exactly enough, then Sam can chord for a Haywire Might, pop his own Saga, go up to 11, take 9, go to 2, and then your charm is no good. So there's like this weird balance. I think you probably wait a couple more tokens.
Yeah, the thing is, Sam doesn't have very many cards at hand. You don't want to let any more Nadu triggers resolve because you don't want him to put Cord in hand. I think you just go for it at the earliest opportunity. And here we go. Rakdos Charm. Does it work?
All right, what do you got, Sam? We know that there
is.
There's the head nod.
You can tell. Look at the grid. Yeah. It's gonna work. It's gonna work.
Yeah, like I said, I think there might be some kind of line if there was Court of Calling for Outrider and Core, but if that is not in hand, then I think we might be going to game 3 here in just a minute.
Yeah, it was that the Court is the way to play around this, and that's the thing is you can actually, if you have to start comboing, you can only, you can't not make your tokens, right? When you can only go at sorcery speed. So this was pretty much impossible to play around if you're going to go for the combo here. Sam's going to go ahead and play the Tutor in response. The Summoner's Pact, going to go see if he has anything, and I guess we'll all find out together.
Yeah, this is just Sam casting Summoner's Pact and being like, do I have any way out of this? Yeah, you see the look on his face,
He gave that look as soon as he said Rakdos Charm, and I was like, yeah, this is going to work.
Oh, chat brings up a good point. There is a Barenton Forge Tender. So if Court of Calling was in the hand, that would be the out. So
correct.
Yeah, like we mentioned, you want to make sure, Ryan wants to do it at the earliest possibility to not give Sam that opportunity to find the Cord. And
that's right. You can't beat Cord, but you can beat Summoner's Pact, I believe, and you should be able to beat Shuko. So I think this is going to work for Ryan Reynolds here to even up at 1 game apiece.
All right, hold on a second. I need to read the text on Forge Tender. So Forge Tender says, prevent all damage a red source of your choice would deal this turn.
Does it deal? Does the
text on Rakdos Charm? No, but the Rakdos Charm says each creature deals 1 damage. The Rakdos Charm is not dealing the damage. I see.
It doesn't work.
So it doesn't even work.
Instant speed combo should work? Question mark though. I don't know. This is a fascinating interactions, and here we go. Rakdos Charm. We're going to Endurance, I guess, is what we ended up getting there.
Yeah, looks like we pacted for Endurance. I think Sam, looking at the grip, I believe it's a Halfling, another Nadu, and a Spring Heart Nantuka, maybe? We're doing something.
I'm very interested if we're missing something here. We can crack a card with the Waterlog Grove if we wanted.
We can do that. Now, okay, let's assume that Sam does draw the the Chord of Calling. Chord, you, I believe, have enough to do it for 3, right? One, two, three. I think there's exactly 6
So
creatures.
he endurance himself here, right? So you get to shuffle an additional chord into your deck. Is that what's happening? I am a little confused.
So it might be Endurance, shuffle the graveyard, crack the Misty to shuffle the Chord in, and then draw off the
Yeah,
Grove.
well,
No,
say
it
the
looks like
Grove.
Sam
The
still
Grove
gets
is
cards.
tapped here, though. But that is a line. The Waterlogged Grove maybe is the thing that we did not see there. That
Yeah.
would have given him an additional draw to maybe hit Court of Calling in response to the Rakdos charm. So there actually was some continued play there. But there we go. Hey, that was what we pointed out in the sideboard, and it played out exactly as we wanted to see it. And it is going to give us a game 3, and I guarantee you, Sam will have it in mind this time.
That one of Rakdos Charm. It's a card that when you lose to a card like Rakdos Charm, it kind of sits in the back of your mind basically throughout the rest of the match. And like you mentioned, I'm sure Sam will have that on his radar for game 3. But that was a pretty interesting game where it looked like, Sam had a pretty good draw, had the Wall of Roots Shuko.
Yeah.
Didn't line up that well against the Static Prison, but then drew the Sun Cleanser. Just an interesting game. And we'll have to see how game 3 plays out. As far as the matchup is concerned, I think I think most of the general consensus is of the opinion that the Nadu deck is favored in this matchup. But there are a decent amount of sideboard cards on the Mardu side of things.
Yeah, it's certainly the idea is that playing Mardu gives you more game against it than playing straight Boros, right? Giving that having access to the black cards, as we saw. That was good. I haven't seen, and I saw some Rakdos charm kills back in the day against Splinter Twin, right? It lined up
Oh
fine against
yeah.
Pestermite. It didn't work
Ooh.
against against Pestermite, but it lined up well against Exarch, I should say. Anyway, it was nice to see a nice Rakdos charm kill. That said, we happen to know it is in fact a one of in the sideboard here for Ryan. So gonna have to try to find that one again if he wants to go for the same line. Other than that, it really did look pretty textbook for Sam. So we're gonna head into game 3, and Ryan's gonna try to take another one down. Just try to kind of, I don't know if steal's the right word, because obviously that's what the sideboard cards are for, and there is more than one sideboard card. But try to find the sideboard cards to carry the game here against Nadu.
Look, Corbin, any day where Splitter Twin gets mentioned is a good day in my book. So
Well, that is the closest thing I think that we're going to have in a minute, and who knows, we may not have it for much longer than a few minutes. So enjoy it while you can.
that is true. Yeah, but okay, let's go back down to the match here. So Sam is going to be on the play for game number 3. I mean, as far as opening hands are concerned, it's fairly textbook stuff. Sam is looking for the combo, looking for a way to find Nadu, a way to find Shuko, maybe some mana dorks. And then from Ryan's side of things, we kind of saw a little bit. It was interesting how game 1 Ryan had a more aggressive start with less interaction, and Sam was kind of able to, easily able to overcome that. And then the
Yeah.
draw where Ryan had a little bit more interaction and slightly less pressure, that was the game that he won. So, maybe you figure from Ryan's side of things, like I'd say a hand that's like, maybe the perfect hand where it's Guide of Souls, Ocelot Pride, Amped Raptor, maybe a bunch of creatures and some lands, maybe not interested in keeping that, especially on the draw in this matchup.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of familiar with that struggle. I play a lot of Merfolk, and sometimes you look at a hand of the perfect aggro hand when all you need is one counter spell.
Yep.
And that is the kind of situation you find yourself in. I don't spot a ton of lands over there for Ryan. Not sure what he's looking at. It looks like a
Yeah, I think it was a one-lander.
reasonable hand for Sam. It looks like he's going to keep. So we've got Sam on the play here as well. So if you're Ryan, you succeeded in game 2. You did what you got your
Mhm.
big Rakdos charm moment off on camera. In fact, by the way, go Ryan. You get to go and tell your friends about that forever. Now the surprise factor is gone. Not that it may or may not have made a difference, but you're unlikely to just seal this game the same way. Uh, so what do you want to do here on the draw against Bant? Like, is it one piece? Do you need one piece of interaction? Is that enough? Do you need lots? Like, what are you looking for in an opening hand?
I think one sort of the ideal setup here for Ryan would be something along the lines of maybe two pieces of interaction. Say something like a Thoughtseize and a Bolt for a Mana Dork, plus a little bit of pressure. And taking a look at Ryan's hand, I think he might have exactly that, where it looks like two discharges, a Bolt, or two discharges, and a Johnny, a Thoughtseize, and a Flage with only one land. But if he draws the second land, this hand is kind of juiced up.
Yeah, this is one of those. This is super reasonable. Look, I got this lesson. I don't even remember what pro told it to me, but one time I was doing coverage, and a pro told me that, hey, look, every opening hand needs something to go right. And while it can look really bad, and you can look silly on camera or on a feature match, if the thing that needs to go right doesn't go right, that's every hand. It's just more visible when what you need to do is draw lands, right? So in
Oh
this
yeah.
case, if the hand is good, and we saw Thoughtseize, that's what he wanted. We saw interaction, that's what he wanted. You're on the draw. You've got two shots to find a land before you miss anything, and that's just the odds you probably need to play when you're on a mulligan, right? And that's fine. And if it works out, that's great. In fact, you have three shots thanks to this surveil land. So
Yeah,
if
I
it
was
doesn't
gonna
work out, it'll look terrible. You won't have a second land. Sorry, but I think this is a nice, a smart, disciplined keep by Ryan.
Oh yeah. And that was actually something I was going to bring up too, where it almost feels when you have surveil lands in your deck, you're way more likely to keep those one land hands because you just
Yeah.
get that extra look, and that can be the difference between winning and losing. And Ryan did pick up a land here, so going to be able to, well, not the best Thoughtseize.
Wow.
Well, does have a
Okay.
second one though.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, I
So
think Ryan's
Ryan
an
has had the fetch start, so he's able to Thoughtseize, and now he could Thoughtseize another Nadu out of Sam's hand. Sam instantly just pitched into the graveyard, as you saw. So I guess that's what you do if you're Ryan.
Oh, I missed that Sam already put one in the graveyard. I
Yes.
didn't see there was three. I thought there was only two.
Oh no. Sam
Oh,
threw his
okay.
hand down and threw one into the graveyard instantly because Sam
That's-
had 4 land
Oh my goodness.
halfling 3 Nadu.
Hand's good against Thoughtseize, I'll tell you that.
It
much.
is good against Thoughtseize. Hey, we interviewed BBD earlier after he won, where he kept a 1-lander, and he said my hand was just resilient against Thoughtseize, and it was, and he won, and that is sure what this one was for Sam. All right, Ryan, you're gonna go ahead and just bite the bullet and Thoughtseize the other one away. Yep, that's what you do.
Can you imagine if Ryan had boarded in the surgical there and just had the and
Yeah,
had the surgical
yeah.
in that exact spot? That would be kind of
Yeah, it'd be
wild.
sick. All right, well, if you're Ryan, you are committing. Look at it this way: you're committing to facing down 1 Nadu thus far, but if you can find a way to get rid of that Nadu, there's only 1 left, barring endurance shenanigans.
And here it is. So there is the Nadu. No Shuko drawn up the top here for Sam. And
Okay, it looked like
Ryan
he hit another
has-
land.
Okay, so
He
it
could,
looks like
he
the
could
hand
actually
is
discharge the if it's red, he could discharge both of them.
discharge the halfling, get the extra energy, and then discharge the Nadu.
Yeah, the
with
problem is
extra,
that
Yep.
you give a lot of Nadu triggers away that way.
You'd give 2, but the upside is there's already 3 Nadus down, and there's no creatures in play for Sam. So, because three
True.
actual copies of Nadus are down, it's going to be Sam is more likely going to need something like a Cord or a Summoner's Pact to find that 4th copy. And with no battlefield, it's going to be a lot harder to set up a Cord of Calling.
Could also, could also go for here we go. I'm gonna say could. Oh. Okay. Yep. There we go. Halfling
So
down.
Halfling down.
Second.
And,
Yep. This is the line. You just bite the bullet. It sucks, but you do it. It was 2 lands for Sam.
Well, Corbin. Remember how we said 3 Nadus in the graveyard? He's going to have to draw the 4th one. Well, we actually missed that there was a 5th copy of Nadu in the deck in the form of Shifting Woodland.
That's
Now,
what that is.
granted, there is only 2 types right now: land plus creatures. So,
Yeah.
a
So
little bit
if
of ways
we can get
away
this
from
one up on
delirium.
screen, maybe. Yeah. This is what a piece of tech when you're deep in the. Yeah. There we go.
Can't activate that. Not quite.
Not quite, but he's showing it off. You can turn it into a copy of a card in your graveyard, which could be Nadu if you have Delirium, if I recall that card correctly.
Yep, for 4 mana. Yeah, Shifting Woodland is really interesting in these decks because you have a decent spread of types where, Court of Calling and Summoner's Pact are instants, and then Urza Saga is 2 types. That's an
Hmm.
enchantment and a land. And
Yeah.
then Haywire Might, which you can fetch off of Urza Saga, is another 2 types. So if you just go Urza Saga for Haywire Might, that's 4 types immediately to already turn on the Shifting Woodland. As we see a Raptor here into a
Ooh,
Harsh Mentor for Ryan. That's a nice pickup.
big. That's big. That's very big because now Sam needs to find that fourth Nadu, or find a way to turn that woodland into a Nadu, and then get through a mentor. Really interesting game here.
Yeah, Sam is actually pretty far away because you not only need to find an access to Nadu, which could mean Cord, Pact, or Nadu, or a way to get Delirium. You need to find a Shuko, and then you also need to find a way to stop this Harsh Mentor. So Sam is sort of like 2.5 pieces away from comboing off. So Ryan does have a good amount of time, and
You
Ryan
know what
also has
Sam needs
4
right
power
now?
in play.
You know what
What's
Sam
that?
needs right now, Devin? He needs a titanium.
Well, now that you mention it. All right, Sam. Oh, wait. Did Sam draw Summoner's Pact? He's looking through the
Oh man.
sideboard. I wonder. I couldn't tell what it was.
See
Is it an
above
endurance?
Seiju,
I think it's
endurance.
an
Well,
endurance.
endurance
Yeah.
starts that. It gets us back into that situation. Not even. I mean, when you have the woodland, I guess it's not even something you want to do yet.
Well, it's interesting because Sam kind of wants to shuffle the 3 Nadus back into the
Right.
deck, but also doesn't want to get remove 2 types from the graveyard for that woodland. So it's
Yeah.
there's a bit of tension there. But you can assume that if Ryan attacks with the Harsh Mentor, probably wants to fire off the endurance just to be able to block the Harsh
Yeah.
Mentor.
Just wants a surprise blocker.
Yep. And another thing that I want to bring up here, Corbin, is there is an Arena of Glory on Ryan's side and a Flage in hand with
Oh.
a bunch of cards in the graveyard. We'll have to see where this endurance is targeting. Okay. Yeah, so it is going to target Ryan, which, Sam is aware of the presence of Flage, and because that arena is face up, it does kind of make sense there. But this
Well,
is going to
yeah,
take care of the
especially
Harsh
with
Mentor.
and with the woodland in play, when you're getting rid of the harsh mentor in combat here, it really makes it attractive to just keep your most direct line to Nadu.
Okay, there's also something very, very interesting to bring up here, where if the endurance dies, there is a chance that it's going to be really difficult for Sam to physically execute the combo, um, uh, unless the other endurance was kept in. Sometimes now they're looking at Sam's deck list, there is 1 endurance in the main and 1 in the sideboard, but not 100% clear if Sam kept in the second endurance. And that might have been what Sam was looking for when he went fetching through his sideboard.
Yeah, because that was a big decision point there, whether you wanted to flash it out in combat or not. You had to make that call.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not clear that Ryan can realistically beat just a huge board. Like, if Sam says, okay, I can't fully infinite loop you, but I can make, you know, 40 1/1s and gain a little bit of life, it's not clear that Ryan can just beat the short combo, if that makes sense.
Hmm. Yeah, this has been a really interesting game to watch. And now we've got, I mean, Ryan's down to just what? Is that 1 card in hand, I think? So pretty difficult for him to do anything but just kind of poke away and hope you get there.
Yeah, looks like there was a surveillance, I believe, from Ryan, and I think we graveyarded it. So attacking him with the Raptor, and can't quite get a good look what the leftovers are. That's another Raptor. I
Raptor's
could
good.
find something here for Ryan. Up the
Raptor,
pressure
I
a little
think, is,
bit.
is definitely one of the better draws. Just anything that increases your board presence. You just need cards. And here you go. Ocelot Pride is, it's a card. It's precisely that.
It is definitely a card. I don't know about you, Corbin, but that is one that shocked me of how good it
Yeah.
actually was. I saw it during spoiler season, and I thought it was going to be kind of cool in more like Convoke style decks that want to go wide. But it turns out it's just a really, really powerful 1-drop. It like just makes a ton of bodies. It blocks a lot of things well. Like, it just kind of made Ragavan obsolete to an extent. Just a fantastic card.
Yeah, I was really excited about it for my Oloro commander deck. And then I found out it turns out busted in modern, and now it's expensive for my Oloro commander deck. It's really unfair, I tell you. But
Should have
yes, the
trusted
card
in
is
the Oloro.
the card's wild. Do what?
Should have trusted in the Oloro.
Yeah, it's some people might say that's what I get for playing Oloro, and you know what? I really couldn't argue with that point. But yeah, I mean, look at the when you can spam it out here in this deck full of other powerful 1-drops and 2-drops. We went from Ryan just needing, I hope I can poke through 13 damage. All of a sudden, look how much power is on his, and now he's untapping. He's going to get a chance to turn him sideways and see what happens.
Yeah, and I really want to go back to the first couple of turn sequences where, Ryan had the double Thoughtseize to take 2 Nadus, ended up killing a third one, and
Yeah.
Sam just doesn't have a lot of Nadus left in the deck. I guess there's still the Chords and the Summoners packs, to be fair, but just, it's a lot harder when you can't just naturally draw it because you have to spend, 6 mana on a Chord as opposed to 3 on a Nadu, as we
Right.
see a Nightmare here for Ryan, and that is... I can't tell. Is there a creature in the graveyard? I think there's the Harsh Mentor, right?
Yes, this is the one of Nightmare here. Yeah, bring back the harsh Mentor if you just want an additional line, and we're gonna both Sage you it. Okay.
Oh, it's actually kind of funny because just for people at home who aren't familiar with the design of this card, it's kind of a throwback to Recurring Nightmare. And if you remember Recurring Nightmare, if you're as old as I am, that one did not have a trigger when it entered the battlefield. So you could not respond with a disenchant or any type of effect. And that's sort of the big difference between these, retrained older cards is now that they have an ETB trigger, you can actually respond because they're sorcery speed. And that's exactly what we see Sam do.
Yeah, that's a good note, and that's a nice little design quirk that makes that affects the power level in a non-obvious way. But it gives it a nice little break in constructed play. That said, I don't know if firing off Boseiju on that Nightmare is getting Sam any closer to winning the game. He's got a lot of lands. He's got 1 card in hand. He's got that woodland. I don't think he has Delirium still. I think we're still at no Delirium.
2 types.
I also think it's more difficult to even combo with the Endurance put into the graveyard. So this is kind of all around for the Nadu player here.
Yeah, we've been at, I think Sam has been at basically 2 types the entire game. So still only creature plus land, has not found any of the instants or artifacts or enchantments that are in the deck, and that's a Wall of Roots off the top. And I gotta tell you, Corbin, that is not going to help here Sam here with 2 blockers. You block the 2 Raptors. I guess you can live on board, right? Where you block the 2 Raptors and take 4 damage.
Yeah, it's really interesting how bad the most broken deck in the format can look when you've actually worked your way through its Nadus. Because you think about it, this deck has a bunch of mana dorks. It should have bad top decks. It just usually doesn't. But in this case, Sam looking like I'm not sure he'll really have any outs at this particular junction.
The Raptor shouldn't die. It has first strike. Okay, don't think it's going to matter, but and that is the Goblin Bombardment for lethal. Ryan Reynolds takes down the Nadu Menace 2-1. What an interesting match.
Yeah, Mardu Energy definitely lived up to, we talked it up beforehand as being an interesting deck that was going to lead to fun and interactive gameplay, and it certainly did that, didn't it? That was great.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so I think we're going to get ready and try to get an interview with the winner of that match here in a few minutes. But yeah, well, Devin, you've come in, you've seen Nadu, and you've seen Nadu lose. I'm not going to lie. I hope that this becomes a theme of our day.
Some personal biases, huh?
Look, it is fun. I mean, look, we talked earlier in the stream about Eldrazi Winter, and do people actually hate Eldrazi Winter? Right? Is that a fun time? Or is that looked at fondly in retrospect? It's certainly worth talking about, and people will certainly be able to do the I remember when. I would expect anyway, with Nadu, right, in the future, based off what we've seen. So, hey, in the meantime, this is probably the last weekend of it, as some are saying the swan song to the bird. We're going to enjoy it while we have it.
At least the thing for me for Eldrazi Winter, which I did play a lot of Eldrazi during that time, but the games were a lot faster. It didn't seem like there wasn't like this infinite convoluted loop with combos
Yes.
and things like that. So the games were, you weren't there for a while, and maybe it was less enjoyable for some people depending on how you feel. But yeah, that's Eldrazi Winter was quite a time.
Yeah, this is some kind of mix of Eldrazi Winter meets eggs that the eggs deck that Cisco won the Pro Tour with before it got banned. But that deck never
Mm,
got to
yeah.
terrorize the world at large. It just kind of destroyed a Pro Tour and then went away quietly. So it's a particularly fun story. But yeah, so look, all of that said, we just saw how you beat Nadu. You can get him with a Rakdos charm. You can get him by just working your way through all the Nadus. Really, I guess if we talk about it, what we saw there was a power of Thoughtseize, right? That was double Thoughtseize, just picking apart the Nadu players.
Yeah, that game was really, like you said, all about those double Thoughtseizes, and it was not only the double Thoughtseize, but the removal spell for the third copy of Nadu, and
Yeah.
just really was able to limit Sam's access to the physical card Nadu. So, yeah, very, very interesting match there. And that Rakdos charm, oh boy, I'll never forget that one. We said in the intro we weren't sure if we were going to be able to top the top deck Lightning Bolt, but that was at least pretty close, right?
It was a good one. That's right. We've had a great tournament. Look, this is what people love about modern, right? You get to see things you don't expect to see. I don't think we expected to see these kind of wild top decks in modern format that is more often defined by people turn three comboing each other, right? So fun top deck wars. And I think on that note, we are getting ready to go down to an interview with Ryan Reynolds, who just took down that match with Mardu Energy.
Yes,
Ryan, how's it going, man?
it's going good. I beat Nadu twice now, so I'm pretty happy. Pretty having a good time. Definitely having a good time.
Having a good time. And you are does that run your record to 5-1 now, I believe?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Yeah, does that run your record now? Are you 5-1?
5-1 right now, currently. Yeah,
Yeah, and you said you've played against Nadu twice and beaten it twice.
yeah.
Or
Both games. Those game ones have been absolutely. I've had two pieces of interaction, and not as much that last one, but have the piece of interaction, and they still get it on turn 3. So it's just been playing and hoping they don't have it. Just try to be more aggressive.
yeah, we liked we have to say we loved the Rakdos charm moment. Is that the first time you pulled it off or what?
I've lost top 8 to get into a top 8 of an RCQ. It's on YouTube. It's going to be on YouTube through a Force of Despair and a Rakdos charm. He courted, got the Nomad, started doing it at instant speed before they resolved, looped through his deck as many times. He did the whole combo on it. But when it's just Shuko, it's pretty good. You count. Try not to be as obvious. I'm like, hey, I'm counting all the creatures you have. I'm going to check to see when you have your life total worth of creatures.
Yeah.
Yeah. Announce it, but I mean, they can play around it. They can play around it. So it is what it is.
So exactly. You mentioned that you beat Nadu twice today. Now, is that obviously this is a matchup that you prepared for coming in? Are you happy with the matchup overall, or do you think you maybe got a little bit lucky in those two matches?
I mean, if they don't have it turn 3, it feels a lot better. All the games I've lost against Nadu have been they've had it turn 3. Literally, they just combo out. I had 2 Bowmasters going into killing their Dryad Arbor the first round. First game, first round. 2 Bowmasters going at them to kill us. They ended up courting for the guy that gives Saxon gives the hexproof. And they still got it turn 3 through that. They sacrificed 2 lands, let 1 die because I had to. And I was like, yeah, they still got it. I was like, okay, I guess that's what it is. I just got it. I got it. Yeah. I might be a turn or land drop off, but it wasn't that far off from it. I had all the interaction. You still, yeah. It is hopes and prayers. It is hopes and prayers.
Yeah, well, it looks great, man. I mean, this has been a great run for you so far. You've got a couple rounds left to go. How are you feeling about the rest of the day?
I mean, I'm here. I'm here till the end. I think I'm timing out of the RCQ that they're doing. They had a 2-slot going on, so hopefully I don't get knocked out of the RCQ and out of the top 8 for the NRG. That'd be yeah.
Well,
it is what it is.
We appreciate you joining us and taking the time to chat with us. And thank you for putting on a great show for us in that last round. Good luck the rest of the way.
Good luck, Ryan.
All right, well, welcome back in. We are off and running. I'm Corbin Hostler with Devin Doomwake O'Donnell. We are here for the rest of the evening to guide you through this tournament. But of course, this is not the only tournament we have here, the NRG Championship Series. You can earn points. And of course, if you win one of the tournaments, you can directly qualify for the end of the year event, which is a huge $35,000 NRG Championship Series event. You see right there the MVP from last year, Steven Dykman, and that means he does not pay any entry fees for 2024. The ultimate dream to truly go infinite. You can do that. Play a tournament, do well, win a tournament, or do well over a series of tournaments coming across the country towards you, and you can qualify for the championship series at the end of the year. You see a couple of our qualifiers there already. That is where this is all building toward. I think we're going to get ready for our next round here. But before we do, let's look at some of the players who are qualified for that championship, because it is filled with some of the best players you can find in the region right now, in the country, making their way across the series. You see him there: Steven Dykman, Matthew Hoey, Sean Gallagher, Dominic Harvey, May French, Teju Jolly, Ken Minjo, Justin Brickman, Jonathan Zaxick, Harrison, Canford, Garrick Alford, and Theodore Young, all qualified. And that means 12 seats remain for the championship at the end of the year. This is what everyone is playing for today. And that is what it's all about.
Absolutely, and we have a lot of these players here today as well. A lot of people who are just kind of, we saw, I've seen Harrison Canford, Garrick Alford, Justin Brickman, and Dominic Harvey we saw earlier on camera today. So a lot of these players just kind of want to come out and game a little bit. Like we said, this is the send off tournament for Nadu, and I know Dom is somebody who's a big fan of that deck.
Yeah, it is certainly looking a lot of players, and I'm more of a, I like to play the rogue decks if I can, but a lot of players just like to play the best deck and be the best with the best deck, and that is an opportunity that they have this weekend, maybe for the last time. So for those players, I hope they're enjoying it. We're enjoying watching, even if it gives us a villain to root against. So we are going to head to break here at the NRG Championship Series in Madison. We will be back for round 7 of our Mardu Open. We'll see you on the other side.